Hey everyone, it's Alex. Just real quick, this is my first video in a new format, and I hope everyone enjoys it. On to the video! SpongeBob SquarePants has always been one of my favorite TV shows. I still go back to the original few seasons every once in a while and laugh until I cry. Even though the show really fell off in later episodes, and now it seems like Nickelodeon is all over the place with all these spin-offs and a million weird movies, I still love SpongeBob as a character, and the series holds a special place in my heart. But what I have to show you today are the SpongeBob video games. These vary wildly from pretty good to absolutely horrible, or even worse, educational. Ew! I'm starting with the earliest 3 SpongeBob games that I could get working, and maybe I'll make a sequel with the others in the future, but who knows, it depends on how this one does. And I'm not doing any Nicktoons stuff because there's a ton of it and most of it is garbage. Maybe for another video. SpongeBob SquarePants Legend of the Lost Spatula, like the other games I'm showcasing today, came out in 2001, except this one was on the Game Boy Color. And I just wanted to point out that the box art uses the most basic artwork of each character. I mean, this is exactly what they used for the SpongeBob Monopoly art. Oh god, the intro music. In fact, all the music is so horrendous, it makes me want to tear my ears off. And the controls are so bad. SpongeBob has a horrifying half-second delay every time you jump, and the whole camera moves with you and gives me a migraine every single time. SpongeBob's only attack has like a 2-inch range. The enemies all look the exact same as the NPCs. I got lost for 40 minutes because there's so much space with nothing in it except jellyfish who keep you from jumping in a freaking platform game where you have to jump. There's not even much more to this game. It's just the essence of what a crappy 2D platformer is. It reminds me more of like a bootleg than an officially licensed game. I wanted so badly for this first one to be decent, but the graphics are eye-melting, most of the music makes me want to puke, and this game is so incredibly difficult with the crappy controls and the surprising lack of health items that I want to chuck my Game Boy into the sewers and let it get eaten by a killer clown. I know that the Game Boy Color had a slew of pretty terrible games, but Wario Land, Super Mario Land, and Link's Awakening were amazing and still hold up today. Couldn't they get even a little closer to that kind of quality and fun? I honestly don't think I've played a worse platform than the Lost Spatula, and it hurts so much to say it. I have to admit, though, that the pause menu is kind of banging for the Game Boy Color. Let's see how the next game fares. The next game I was going to talk about was SpongeBob SquarePants Operation Krabby Patty for Windows, but I couldn't get it to work yet. Maybe I can include it in a later video. I will say, though, that the installation screen scared the crap out of me. So, we're moving on to SpongeBob SquarePants Super Sponge for PlayStation and Game Boy Advance. Maybe it's a mistake after Lost Spatula, but I'm going to go with the Game Boy Advance version. This one has like semi-3D visuals, and it's kind of messing with my brain, but it's also kind of oddly appealing. In this game, you're trying to get Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy's autographs for Patrick for his birthday. It starts with the classic SpongeBob line, "How far will SpongeBob go for his friend?" And SpongeBob goes around karate chopping random fish and animals and eating jellyfish corpses as a ranged attack. Some of the enemies you kill are just regular fish, which is kind of disturbing. Altogether, the ingredients for Mermaid Man's peanut butter and jellyfish jelly sandwich, which he wants lettuce on for reasons that chill my soul. The music is so dinky, and it doesn't sound like anything out of SpongeBob. At least the others tried. Let's listen to this boss music. It's so weird! As you go along, the two superheroes give you more and more tasks, and you unlock more tools like the reef blower, which is even worse than the net. Oddly, all of the tools work really slowly. Overall, it's a mediocre 2D platformer with some unfortunate quirks like the strange delays on catching jellyfish or on how the camera moves when SpongeBob jumps. Kinda like the other one. I'm not giving this one a good noodle star. Sorry, my spongy boy. I couldn't get the other Windows Game Employee of the Month to work either. So the next one is Revenge of the Flying Dutchman for the Game Boy Advance. Supposedly there's GameCube and PlayStation versions, but I couldn't get them anywhere, so here we go! This one has some great graphics and catchy music for the Game Boy Advance, even though SpongeBob has weird-looking eyes and crawls around like some kind of terrifying eldritch worm. You start off by chasing after Gary, who is zooming, by the way. He's always like 10 steps ahead and completely disappears after you catch one glimpse of him until SpongeBob catches him and frees the Flying Dutchman like some kind of underwater Pandora's box. SpongeBob runs around collecting pirate doubloons, holding keys in a way that would make Nintendo sue, and searching for the Flying Dutchman's treasure so he'll grant him a wish. You travel across the different Bikini Bottom locales and use a variety of bubble projectiles to jump, bounce, glide, and blow your way through each level. Kind of like Mega Man, but way more mundane. The main bubble weapon turns jellyfish enemies into platforms, but they're circular, so you never know if you'll actually land on it. And with some of the levels going upward, kind of like Sandy's Tree Dome from Super Sponge, this mechanic can get insanely frustrating real quick. Revenge of the Flying Dutchman is probably my favorite out of this video. It probably would look like a pile of garbage next to some of my favorite 2D platformers. Video games based on TV shows rarely seem to live up to the source material, and despite SpongeBob's popularity, he wasn't immune to a few stinker games either. These 2D platformers could have been good, but they all have weird delays with SpongeBob's moves, and each of the ones I covered today has a camera that freaking moves every time SpongeBob jumps. Hopefully in the future I can cover some old SpongeBob PC games and see how those go. Some of them don't look half bad. And some of the more modern SpongeBob games, like the classic Battle for Bikini Bottom or Cosmic Shape, which I'm hoping to do for another video or maybe play on a stream, have been really good 3D platformers with unique focuses on comedic writing with the original voice actors. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you like and subscribe so that you can be notified when my next video comes out. I'm trying to get back into the YouTube creator schedule, so please just bear with me. Alright, bye-bye!